Psychologists tell us that there are defining moments in the life of the child that actually could predict the direction that that child will choose for himself, whom that child will become, what he will embrace, what he will eschew, what he will act upon, and what he will distance himself from. And if psychologists know this, then we could be certain that the Torah HaKadosha, given that it is the source, the Gola Amukos, as it were, for all of education in life, for all of knowledge in life, knew it all too well as well. And indeed, we have it in this week's Sedra. We are told that when Sarah Imenu insists that Avram Avinu banish Yishmael because of the impact and influence that he's potentially having upon his younger brother, upon Yitzchak, Avram Avinu takes Hagar, he sends her packing, he provides the basic necessities of food, of lechem, of bread and water. And Yishmael has a fever, we are told, according to Chazal. He places Yishmael upon Hagar, as it were, and he's already an adolescent. She goes into the desert, and after the water runs out, because he was so thirsty, having had such a high fever, she takes this child and she places him at a distance. Vayichlu hamayim min hachemes, the water ran out. Vatashech es hayeled tachas achar hasichim. She takes Yishmael and she places him under a tree, something that Shamshon Furl Hirsch explains would never ever occur with a Jewish mother. No Jewish mother would ever leave a child alone to suffer his last moments. She distances herself from Yishmael, who is suffering, who is famished, who has nothing to drink. And she moves herself at a distance as what is commonly translated as a bow's shoot, the distance of an arrow being shot. Ki abra al erabamos hayolad, because she said to herself that she couldn't possibly bear to see her son die. So Atesha minegab atisa oskola batef. She sat at a distance, she raised her voice and she cried. She sat herself at a distance sufficient to be able to see him on the one hand, but at the same time not to be near him in his hour of need. Says Shamshon Lefurl Hirsch, a Jewish mother would remain with her son even for a millionth of a second more if that period of security afforded to the child would offer the child an easier time. But Hagar does not. And after she is granted a well of water by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem Yisparach explains to her that indeed this child will have a very great future, the Psukim tell us that Vayehi Elohim Esanar Vayigdal, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was watching over the lad as he matured. Vayeshev Bamidbar, and he dwelled in the desert. Vayehi Rovek Hashas. What did he choose to become of all the things that could have been chosen? Rovek Hashas. He chose to become an archer. And we say to ourselves, really? He happened to choose to become an archer? Poor parenting, explain psychologists, indeed, create many psychosocial behavioral problems for children. What they experienced in their household carries forth. And they live their lives based upon those moments of angst, those moments of pain, those moments of poor parenting. And they become children who simply cannot get along in society, cannot find their way with any measure of ease. And if indeed Yishmael became a Rovek Hashas, pitifully always measuring the distance that he felt from the victims of his shoot, always pining, no doubt, to shorten the distance between himself and the victim of his archery. Because we understand that the distance that he felt between himself and his mother, as he was staring death in the face, well, that distance must have been the greatest distance that could possibly be experienced and possibly be measured. And when Hagar was told in the Seder Lech Lecha that indeed she would have a son, and he would be a Pera Adam, and the Ibn Ezra explains a Pera Adam, Chashi Adam, he will be answerable to no one, accountable to no one. Because when a person feels himself so far from his mother, from the woman who bore him, from the person who was supposed to love him more than anyone in life, well, that distance of a bow's shoot indeed becomes the measure of the choice of his future. Vayehi rove kashas. How careful we need be in the way that we treat and that we raise our children. Have a wonderful Shabbos.